Hi. I won't be so long this time. I didn't realise how long my last little rant went. So this week, I want to keep it succinct. There are some very clear, strong themes that showed up, and I'll contain it to that, basically too. The heading this week is Be. So something very new showed up, and it showed up twice. So I pay attention when things show up that bring a whole new energy to things as they've progressed along. It's not like it hasn't sort of entered into presence before, but this time it was very, what I would say, loud and clear, and generally unseen. So, and it's kind of clear why it isn't generally seen, because the pattern that showed up, and it's a big underlying pattern that we need to drop and just be in, because in just that space of just be, you might perceive the core of it as connected to all. What showed up was the desire to move on in life and to be secure and to be safe, and sometimes the drive for that is so big and so relentless and can be pursued over decades, and only to find that as the decades go by, there's actually less and less desire with life energy to continue on that path. You know, if you have one business, you might want 3 businesses. And the reason 3 businesses are wanted is because I don't feel secure with one only, or whatever that story is. And when we went back, it goes back to the young years where we did not feel, or that confidence wasn't instilled. Because many decades ago, the parents wanted children to do well, to be driven, you can do better, or why do you want to do that? That's not going to get you a job, do this instead. And then what you really feel a passion for gets used in different directions. And then trying to make your trying to get your life in order seems to be a relentless loop going forward. And at this stage right now, those messages really need to sink in, this confidence, this trust within self that regardless of what happens, I know I'm fine. Regardless, I know there isn't anything I can't stand in or meet. You think of all the things you've already stood in and met. I mean, we're incredibly capable. In the process of identifying this confidence, and with another where the same pattern showed up, it wasn't so much in fact, no messages came through. It was just take care of others. Just take care of others. Yeah? Here are the kids. Go out. Don't come back till the lights come on. And make sure you look after them first. Like wild. And to be that caring and that loving and that focused, how do we focus on being when it's always holding space for others, or holding space that this security may one day come? What showed up in that process, I found very interesting. So here we are as a being, and very often when it really goes to the spiritual connection, It's more this line. It's not that it's above or below. It's more that whole toroidal vortex that we sit in, that this line connects to, where we pull through the connection to all that is, to the best of what it wants us to realize about ourselves. This is a journey of unpacking self and realizing who we are, to only realize there's always more to unpack, to see who we have the capacity to be. It's wonderful. So this line is a very strong communication, usually in terms of balancing left and right brain. What showed up was like an overriding aspect that actually spoke very clearly. It was like, I don't care whether you didn't get the messages, I know you are. I don't care what the past is. The truth is, you are unlimited, you are capable. It's like it wants that to drop in now and stop the stories. Stop, don't say a word. Stop, just stop. I mean, we've all met those conversations where it's so off the rails, we just go stop, stop, stop. It's going in directions that's like spiraling off to such a story or a drama or a non-truth, or how it really sits. It just comes to that point of stop. And it's like this energy just wanted it to stop. And it was like that in which we sit continuously is saying, enough, enough, just stop. Because the opportunities in stopping and seeing anew all the capacities and possibilities and that which too exists, seen or unseen, is available. There was a woman who came and saw me. She's such a gem, such a precious gem. And what showed up in this case was the living. It was like living here. And the real ability of where to live actually sat here. And living here with what the desire for perfection, what's perfect. And if we want perfect, we always find the non-perfect. And before you know it, you live in the non-perfect, wanting the perfect. But by looking at that, you end up here, rather than it's all good, it all sorts out. The imperfect is the perfect. The imperfect means we can sit at the table, we can discuss and see what we can come to agreement to moving forward, so that you can have more and I can have more, and you can have more freedom, I can have more freedom, we can have more togetherness, we can both grow and expand, but it takes this view. So looking at lack, or always looking for the perfect, is when it already is perfect. And the ability to see that, what happens then when little things aren't perfect, you can call it normal. Oh yeah, I just scratched something. Well, it happens. It's normal. To be able to make bumping into a table normal, to whatever little bits and pieces happen during a day that aren't exactly perfect, but just to actually have it be a normality of a process that, in fact, sometimes we don't even notice. And then the day is good. It's this sense of just be, like a floating through. So that actually made a lot of sense and brought great relief, because being in this space here, but wanting to be in this larger perfect area. It's not fun. But what I find what happens is, if you're in this area here and you call it normal, it naturally expands. And it keeps expanding. And before you know it, it just expands and expands and expands out of the normality and the naturalness and the good. It gets there by default, depending on whether you have, if you have this view, by default, it will continue to increase and just be more and more and more, regardless of what is happening. Because even terrible things have amazing gifts in it, which actually is what I want to end with today, because I happened to see a couple who were in a car smash. They'd already made the appointment before coming, and between making the appointment and coming for the appointment, they'd had a car smash. And the message was quite dramatic when it arrived. So, of course, it sat with me thinking, oh gosh, when I get there, XYZ, blah, 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 whatever may show. I was sitting in it. And when they arrived, it was nowhere near as dramatic. Thank God. So, what showed up was pretty much this pattern. The habit of seeing the world as terrible, seeing people as terrible, seeing all of it as terrible, what's happening is terrible, to the point that everybody's evil and there's no good in the world. Yeah, when something happens, then it's absolutely disastrous and it's bad. It's just all bad. Other than no one got hurt. We all got out of the car. Yes, it was a shock. But we're actually all okay. And they were insured and blah, blah, blah. It's like there was so much that could be seen as grateful and good that you can have a car accident, be in this world, or you can be in this world. It makes a huge difference. So in the process of seeing this, but seeing that as a lifelong pattern that has created many, many things in life. And interestingly enough, the spirit of this being showed up as being shackled, literally shackled like a slave. And the spirit was saying, I can't do this anymore. But what the spirit actually couldn't do anymore was turn life around or live in this world. This world of it's bad and people are evil and why do they do that? And like with so many things, and I get it. I get it. All the conspiracies and all the things that we see in the world, in many ways, to look at that is to say, well, how come I'm not surprised? That's the ability that humans have to choose in this world. No surprises there. To see it and then stay on your own page and move forward is the gig. And that's how you end up in this place here. You see it. You can only do your bit by staying on your page and moving forward by being and in your own authenticity and the most natural, kind, authentic way of moving forward. What the spirit couldn't do anymore is live in this place. And it was heard so clearly. It was quite amazing. I was quite surprised how quickly it was seen and moved into this place. So when this being got off the table and walked around, it was like floating. They were floating with ease. Because if we be, there's just the presence. So the other being in the car had a different experience. She She lives here, generally lives here. But what had happened is that the accident brought back triggers of having been in an earthquake. And what came out of that, falling into that place, I can't showed up, I can't, and then got stuck in I can't. And in this case, yes, cranials needed to be corrected. The flow had to be re-established through the body with the I can. So again, it came to that neutral state without the story. If we can drop the story and just be, I reckon magic happens. I feel that energy has more to bring to us than we can even imagine. If we're prepared to drop stories and see what comes, the delight of the day, what shows up. And it does continuously. So the card that showed up, no essence showed up to share this week, but the card that showed up is stillness. Take time to be still, to appreciate the beauty in every moment. Quiet your busy mind and allow the still softness of peace to envelop you. Do not rush into anything, but sit meditatively, and in this stillness your answer may be found. To attain what has eluded you, be still and allow it to land upon you. As a feather would gently float into your hand, so do your wishes descend upon you. May you have many of those experiences this week. Much love.